Welcome to the FeedBak podcast, everybody. My name is Back. I got Obi in the house.
What's up, guys?
I got Adam in the house.
Hello.
And introducing Crystal Munson. How you doing?
Hi,
Yes.
good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. I really
Yes.
appreciate it. And I mean,
And everyone that's watching, this is my great friend Crystal, and we work together. So she's one of our assistant directors on the show, Fear the Walking Dead. But she's been part of pretty much every cool movie you've seen, like Inception, Star Trek,
oh, she gonna
like
be.
you name it. Like she's been
Start
there,
blushing.
like making it. So she's one of my favorite people. So I love that she's like my first guest of like coworkers that I invited to the podcast.
Oh, I'm so honored. Thanks, Obi.
No, thank you for being here. Wait, so
Mhm.
you how long you been in the movie business? I guess.
It's been since 2009 was my first show that I was on. So 11 years. So it's not that long, really, I guess. But I was in theater before that. That's kind of how I got my start. So for 10 years before that, I was in theater, then moved into movies and television by
Like
accident. And
behind
here
the
I
scene?
am.
Behind the scenes?
Yes.
Oh,
Mhm.
that was a big leap.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like what was the first show you worked on when you got behind the scenes?
My very first movie.
Yeah. Oh, it was a movie. Okay.
Yeah, well, 11 years ago was the movie. So that would have been Star Trek. The new Star Trek with J.J. Abrams was the very first movie set I stepped foot on. I was very lucky.
Oh, no pressure.
No pressure. I didn't
Shit.
go on as a actual employee to start off with. I was a guest, and the ADs on that show just figured out who I was and took me under their wing, and I never stopped from there. So after that was Inception, and then Dark Knight Rises, Crazy Stupid Love, and just worked my way up the totem pole until now I'm an AD,
Wait, AD is assistant director.
assistant director.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, I am not in the movie business. I just watch them. Can't assume what AD
Yeah.
means, but that's dope.
I'm one of those names that scroll at the very end, you know?
Really fast.
Really
and you
fast.
Really
pause.
The AD makes sure that literally everything happens. That's
Yeah.
like the role.
She keeps us on time and make sure we show up to the right place at the right time. So,
Wait, so
yeah,
you work
very
on-
important.
Okay, you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to be there, like that kind of stuff.
My whole job is communicating. Yeah, just making
Oh.
sure everybody knows what they're supposed to do and when they do it. And really, my main focus is just talking and making sure people know where they're going. I really have no skill other than that.
You're in theater. You can't just say I have no
Yeah.
skills.
It's like
You
just
just
so
said
many
you were in theater.
spreadsheets, so much organization. Like
I'm
in
a really good organizer. So if anybody needs an organizer right now in the time of COVID, I'm really available at the moment. So
I'm in
Nice.
awe of ADs. Seriously.
Nice, nice.
So how's it been for you since the confinement started?
bittersweet. I love the fact that I had some downtime. I was at a point where I just needed to have a little bit of a break. And now it's been 4 months and I'm getting a little bit stir crazy and I don't quite know what to do with myself, but I'm also not really ready to go back to work under these conditions. So
Yeah,
it's tough.
I feel you with that. Like that's a perfect lead-in because that's what I wanted to talk to y'all about, like how everyone's been dealing with being stir
See,
crazy.
she keeps us on point. She's already
I
working.
know. That's
You know, you
already
gave
like
me
a
one that needed to be
nice,
talked about. It's going to give you your lead in.
a nice smooth lead-in. So, Adam, what have you been doing to kind of deal with the boredom and stir craziness at home?
Man, it's weird because I always want to go back and forth. I want to either be consuming art or creating something, right? And so like
Mhm.
we came in, me and my partner, who is my girlfriend I live with and also my co-producer and writer on this sitcom. We were talking about Toy Joy a little before we went live.
Yeah.
We just shot this sitcom at Toy Joy about when I worked there, about working at a toy store. That is something that we came into isolation being like, great, all this time to edit it. And we're still working through our editing process, So I've been watching a lot of movies. I've been trying not to kick myself for things moving slowly, like things like editing moving slower than they would normally. I've been watching a lot of movies and trying to consume, but also like take notes on them so it feels like productive even when I'm relaxing,
Yeah, like you're learning at the same time.
Exactly. And then, trying to write songs, which again, try not to be too hard on myself for not writing as much as I may, once have but working on an album with Bird Peterson, I'm really excited about.
Oh, that's dope.
Oh,
Yeah.
snap.
So
I love that.
that's, and working a day job. So day job, writing a new album. We recorded a few tracks. I've gotten a few mixes back that I'm really excited about. And then, I have this show project that's like, hey, finish me over in the corner.
I didn't know you know Bird. Did
Bird's
you know
awesome.
he knows Bird?
Everybody knows Bird Peterson.
Yeah, that's true.
Small.
That's what I've
He
been
has to
doing.
check
small
my
world.
Twitter account.
But I it's funny because when you ask me that question and I rattle it all off, it sounds like I'm like, oh, it sounds like I'm being really organized and really pro. I do not want to give that impression. I also want to let everyone know that depression is real and COVID depression is real. And I might say I'm working on a lot, but there's plenty of that that's, what did you do today? I took my dog outside. It was a productive day. We went out.
It's,
to
the,
the
it's like the
it's
realest
little things.
statement.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the little things. Like today, I was playing with my son this morning, 2.5 in a couple days. Woohoo!
Oh, nice.
It's
Congrats.
hyper all over the place, running everywhere. It's like, let's go see the train. No, there's no train. Okay, let's just go see the tracks. All right, we'll go see the tracks. So we went to the tracks, and it's like did that, and then try to run an errand. Took me 2 hours, killed my day, and I was like, fuck it. I don't even feel like get anything done today besides this.
Yeah.
And so, but I think that when we're in this kind of situation where, yeah, I mean, you can't go outside, you can't meet up with your friends, you can't do anything. I mean, in Texas, we're close to stage 5 out of 5. We're still in stage 4, but we're like right there. And everything shut down again. And I think a lot of states are following up. Like California was like, all right, it's done. Everybody go back home. And you're like, fuck, how do you occupy a day besides, watch TV? Because there's not a shortage of that shit. And, movies still come out.
That's literally all I've been doing. It's kind of like I wake up, I watch Judge Judy, I watch 90 Day Fiance, and then and then I feel
I just judged you just now.
I know. Yeah, I know. But I've learned a lot about laws in different court cases.
What have you learned, Obi?
No, I don't know. Maybe nothing. But I'm in that same process with aside from this podcast, trying to feel like I'm being productive throughout this whole thing, because I'm trying to be safe and not add to the whole mess of people coming out and not quarantining and things like that. So if I don't have to be out and about, then I'm trying to stay put. But yeah, the stir craziness is a legit thing, and it adds. I've talked to a bunch of friends, and they're going through the whole anxiety and depression thing because they feel like.
Are they alone?
They have different plans and yeah. I even have one friend that I feel really bad for him because he's he'll call me kind of sad because he's going through a divorce during this time. So it's kind of like if you'd be with that person kind of quarantine, but now you're kind of by yourself and on top of all the other drama happening too. It's a weird time, man. It's a weird time, but I have hope that we're gonna get out of this soon.
Well,
we're gonna get its act together.
Sorry.
Now, when this is over, you'll see you have the people who took advantage of these 4 months to actually do some shit, like Ivanka Trump told everybody to do. It's do something else. Yeah, okay, get a certification and whatever you can do. And you have the people who are oh well, I watched the entire. I watched Game of Thrones all over again, and then after that, I went to Star Wars, and after that, I did the entire Breaking Bad series. So I didn't do shit. I just sat on my couch, ate potato chips, and didn't come out of it with anything.
I think we need to normalize just surviving being okay during this time. Can I read y'all something that my girlfriend read to me that she found on Instagram that actually made me feel so much better about it. It's very relevant to what you're just talking about, Obi.
Go ahead.
Okay, This is why I was on my phone. Okay, this is a thread on Twitter. Those all over the place feelings you've been having, they are symptoms of stress, not personal failures of yours. Do you feel flaky and inconsistent? That's because your brain doesn't know what news to brace for next or what next month will hold. Tired easily? That's because your brain is burning your energy 10 times faster than normal. Can't seem to focus? That's because your brain has temporarily shut down some functionality in your prefrontal cortex, the part that juggles complex tasks and planning due to the stress response. Feeling creatively blocked? That's because your brain has temporarily diverted all of its creativity, aka ability to solve novel problems, to how do I avoid dying while in a narrowed, slow burn, fight or flight state. Your plans, creativity, energy, focus, and motivation are on a yo-yo right now because your brain believes you need to be extremely adaptive. You will not be on this roller coaster forever. Be patient with your brain. Sincerely, a positive psychology certified coach and fellow human. I really enjoyed hearing that. I hope that that was helpful for someone who heard it.
I agree with all of that. I agree with everything that you just read.
Wait, so what are you doing with your days, Crystal?
Me, I am mostly watching TV, which is something that I never really did before because I was always working. But I did invest, I guess that's one way of putting it, into an adult-sized kiddie pool with 4 lounge chairs that I put around it, and then an umbrella that goes over top of it, a 9-foot umbrella, and little tiny side tables, and everything is 6 feet apart so I can have friends over to socially distance by the pool. And that has been my summer so far.
That adult size kiddie pool. Okay, Chris.
And I got in a floaty, like one of those inflatable tubes that fits right inside the kiddie pool, so you can just sit there with your drink with the umbrella over top of you and kind of circle in a floaty in the kiddie pool. It's great.
The small pleasures of life. That's what it's about.
It's small.
That's all it is.
Well, based on if the schools were going to reopen, we'll see if you get any use out of that. If kids want to come over there and and take part in your.
I have not had any kids over yet. It's an adult-sized kiddie pool. That means it's probably about 6 inches deeper than a regular kiddie pool or something. But at some point, I plan on having my best friend's kids over and do the sprinkler and the whole thing. But
I did that. I bought one of those splash pad things off of Amazon for like $20. Just a piece of shit. Seriously, it's like you're supposed to put the hose in and then the water splashes back in like that, but it leaked everywhere, and it's like, I'm not getting in there, and it started peeing in it, and it was a mess. I'm like, yeah, $20. Am I really gonna go through the let's take it back to Amazon? Fuck no. But yeah, it's one of those things. But like I've listened to a lot of music lately. And I think I brought this up before, but like Questlove's been killing it for me every night. It's been doing like a Shaka Khan special for the past couple of days. He did a week of the Jackson family, like an entire week for like 3 hours, like from Rebby Jackson, who I didn't know who the fuck she was, to Michael, Jermaine, Jackson 5, some live stuff, some demos and everything.
But what was the first name you said?
Rebby?
I've never heard of.
She's the oldest Jackson.
She's the oldest sister.
She's the oldest.
The Jackson
Rebby,
family.
And then I don't even know the order, but like Janet is like all the way. She's like the oldest.
She's the baby.
Sibling.
Janet's the baby.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so there's 7 Jackson kids in total, right? I thought there were 6, but there's 7.
Yeah. Well, there's the 5 plus the 3 girls.
3 girls?
Yeah, it's Janet and LaToya and Rebby.
Oh, LaToya. Sorry, LaToya.
Yeah. Don't forget about LaToya.
Oh, LaToya.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, come on now.
Sorry.
Don't forget about LaToya. How dare you?
Okay, sorry.
Oh, but Beck, I have a question. So you've been watching these Questlove DJ sets. Like, speaking of like the entertainment industry, like, would you be satisfied if that continues post like COVID? If we're just always watching it virtually, like concerts and stuff, or do you think it can kind of match like the experience of being like at a live show, or
no,
or like the same goes for like movies, because how movie theaters are not opening back up, but now they're transitioning into like drive-in movie theaters where
well,
you don't want.
In terms of the music, I think that I don't think it will, and for one reason is that I'm big on. I mean, as you know, the dance floor is where I live when I go out. So there's a connection that you get by being on the dance floor around other people that you cannot recreate online. It's just impossible. I don't care if they come up with like VR goggles with all that stuff. I don't know. It will. I don't think it will be the same. But in terms of the entertainment itself, I mean, I enjoyed. I think it's gonna be the new normal because you could be at home. There's no line for the bathroom. You know, drinks are free, and you don't have to deal with douchebags and drunk people.
It's sad to me. I don't
I
know.
know, but I mean,
like it.
don't get me wrong. Like this is what I enjoyed while, you know, you'd go to a show, you go to a bar, is like your people watch and you see the craziness and you see the couple fighting and you see the bachelorette party and the douchebags on how the drunkest girl in the bachelorette party. And I mean, yeah, I watch a lot.
What
That's
about you?
creepy as fuck right now, but
what about you, Crystal? Do you think the virtual experience will kind of fulfill you the way all the old experiences did?
No, absolutely not. And I don't think that this is going to be the end all be all. We are going to return at some point back to being a part of a community and being able to be with each other. It's just a matter of how we behave now in order to get to that point. Like we are 4 months into this and we are no better off than we were 4 months ago. In fact, we're worse off as a country, whereas the rest of the world is way farther ahead than we are.
Yeah.
So as a person in the entertainment industry, like I just sit here and I'm trying to tell people, please wear your mask. Like I want to go back to work, but I cannot do that and create the content that you are digesting right now until you wear a mask. So this flattens and we get some control over it. So no, I think that live interaction is never going to be replaced. We're human. We need that in some form. Whether you're an introvert or extrovert, you need some kind of interaction at some point.
Yeah,
but I can play devil's advocate here.
Oh, please do.
Because I don't know if maybe I talked about this before, but anyway, like the entire I would say economy has shifted from, I can go to the grocery store or I can go to the restaurant or get everything delivered at home. I could go to the gym, but I'm gonna get one of those Soul Cycle things. I can get that mirror thing and then just do everything at home. I can't get, anything at home at this point, right? Even movies that come out, they're like, well, if theaters are not reopening, I'm not going to release that in the theater. I'm going to like go straight to Netflix or one of the 10 streaming services we have now. Peacock just launched like a day ago or something. And so, I can just stay home in my PJs and I have a big screen TV or whatever and just enjoy a movie at home. Like I get the experience itself of going to the movie theater, buying the popcorn for $10, sitting in a dark room with a bunch of strangers and big screen and big sound and everything. But
that's a big topic that like in our industry that they're talking about right now, because how they keep pushing Nolan's movie Tenet, they keep pushing the release date further back because of theaters. And a lot of these studios have been talking, like I've been seeing all these articles about, do we just really go ahead and release all of our movies on all the streaming services? And I'm on the fence with it because our industry, we get two shots to make like these big budgets back. Like you release the movie nationwide in theaters, bam, you have that first box office. Like say for instance, like movies like 200 million, that's the budget for it. You can make that money and more releasing it in theaters, and then by the time it gets to the streaming services, you make another amount of money that way too. But I think the first time that they kind of got to just do it straight to streaming services was like right when COVID hit in March. They had Sonic. They had that animated movie Sonic that hit, and they released that.
Wasn't Trolls first?
Was it Trolls?
Trolls was
I think Trolls was first. Yeah.
Oh, Trolls was first. Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
But there was a whole deal with Trolls in theaters just because of Trolls, right?
There were some think pieces on Trolls.
But I remember the big question was, can this movie make a profit? And that movie ended up, specifically talking about Sonic, it had a $90 million budget, and then it made 309. million from streaming. Like, so it proved that yes, you can make your, or was it 209? Was it 209 or 309? I think it was. It's one of those, but either way, it made its money back just going straight to streaming.
Within a
So,
very specific context, though. We
Mhm.
are in a time when everybody went to quarantine and was looking for some kind of escape, and therefore was able to, and it was a new
Yeah.
movie that they were able to, it was a, so I don't know if that's really a fair point line.
like assessment, yeah,
Say that-
because
yeah,
everybody,
that-
yeah,
like-
it was there's a lot of audiences just kind of sitting, waiting for something brand new. I don't
Yeah,
know
but-
when everybody starts getting all their distractions back, if that will still have the same effect. But I personally, you won't ever be able to replace like the movie going experience to me.
Of course
I
not. I
love
get that.
going and like it. And people want to say, "Oh, it's so uncomfortable to like pay all this for a popcorn." Like I loved all of it, and that's why. And I think that even the industries too, like when you go to a theater, like most of them converted to you get to buy food and you get to drink beer at the same time, or some have like I pick have like the big lazy boy comfy chairs that
Yeah, they
that are
recreate
there.
your living room. Here's a couch that you can recline, and here's a blanket.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want to chime in on this movie thing.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm just 100% in Crystal's camp here with the idea that no, you can't replace it at home. And here's why I think so. One is because, like Crystal's saying, the money even that we saw from Trolls World Tour or Sonic, first of all, those are super escapist movies, and they came out right during a time when everyone was home and people were home with kids, and they're both kid friendly. So there's a lot creating a bubble there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a book that I read years ago called Bowling Alone that was kind of about the transition between and the idea behind this was that bowling alleys were being used. It's kind of bowling alleys are the synecdoche for this places we go in public to spend time together. Video stores, bookstores, bowling alleys, grocery stores, movie theaters. So a few of those things, yeah, we've seen that. Like grocery stores, you can order groceries and get them delivered. We've been doing that in isolation.
Mhm.
But I also don't think humans want that. And especially after things open back up, I think there's going to be a push for it. I think we might actually, I think there's a difference here between what the market says is happening, like what will money do, but that's going to stabilize. And then there's the other side of things, which is what are we used to, what do we want? And while movie theaters can replicate like the home viewing experience, what I potentially see happening here is maybe the movie theater industry doesn't, I think it might look like more of a hybrid years down the line where we do home releases, but and this is wishful thinking because I'm a romantic with movies, but maybe we see some sort of a boutique presentation come back where like in the 30s and 40s, people get dressed up, go to the movie theater like it's a night out on the town. There's a pre-show. Maybe we see more of that. Also,
Okay.
maybe if you make less money through streaming, maybe that incentivizes a return to lower budgets because the risk is lower.
Aha,
Maybe we
yes.
see a new indie market. Maybe indie filmmakers have more of a market share. But I don't know. I'm not Nostradamus. I just really buck against the idea that movie theaters are dead forever. I really don't think that's the case.
I don't think it's dead. You still have diehards who are going to go to the movies. I mean, in France, they reopened the movie theaters.
I know. God bless France.
Diva.
I get to switch whenever I want. French, American, African. I just whatever's convenient. But anyway, and so I'm not saying it's going to die. I'm saying that once people adapt to a certain way, and that's what drives the industry. Like, look, people at home. So we're going to release this movie in the theaters for those who want to go, and then we'll also put it on Netflix, like they did for The Irishman, right? Was The Irishman?
Oh yeah, The Irishman was on Netflix.
And then this was a big budget movie, but they're like, yeah, we still want people to watch it.
It was such a big budget that couldn't get it made without that distribution style, which is really, and that's why I lean towards this hybrid, is because The Irishman is something Scorsese was trying to make forever. And the fact that it did this hybrid style of stream and theatrical was the only way he got, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm misunderstanding this, but the way he got greenlit on that. And that's Scorsese. So like, maybe there's a hybrid style that guarantees a bit more of a market share from folks who are at home, but also keeps this up. And
But do you think it's 50-50? Because I don't.
It's not 50-50, certainly no. But I I just don't think that people, especially after we get the green light to go back into public, are gonna. I know I am not gonna say, "Oh, I can go out in public again. Cool. I'm gonna watch, Tenet. I can stream that." Hell no, I'm gonna go see that in 4K IMAX with as many people in the audience with me as I can, because I want to.
Exactly.
I want to get mad at someone I hear whispering 3 rows behind me,
And
But
it's
I
black,
still miss the projector. I still miss the projector.
Because that's what I think people like, the people that are like for the only putting big new releases on streaming think is gonna happen. I think they feel like you're still gonna get the same quality of all these big budget things, like all the Marvel movies or your Tenet and your all these big, but like if the risk is so minimal, like if you have to take such a big risk that just getting one shot at making that budget back and making a profit, I see it kind of disappearing.
I'll add an asterisk to that, because as Baghdaddy, I don't think families will take that risk to go, oh yeah, the movie theater is open and there's a new Disney movie, we're going to go see it all together as a family. That's a big risk to take.
What timeline are you talking about? Are you talking about within the next year? Or are you talking about in the next 10 years? What are we talking as far as?
Next year.
Next year. I mean, when like you just said, if they reopen and they go, oh, movies open, everybody can go. I don't think families will be like, yeah, let's all go get together and go to the movie theater. It will take some time for families with kids to get back into that. I think so. And so if that's the case,
silver lining.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, finish up.
I was just going to say the silver lining to all this is that we now have the option to either stay home or go. They're completely perfecting how this streaming works and how they're going to make it work. So whether we want to go out into public and see the theater in a live experience, or if we want to see it at home. And I think that over the next year, they're going to create these systems. I mean, such as the film festivals. You are able to be a part of a lot of these film festivals that you wouldn't have been able to be a part of before, and see all these indie films. Like Adam was saying, the independent films would probably get more viewing or streaming because of the fact that these platforms are growing.
But like, I honestly think that 2020 is shot. So,
well, yeah.
No Halloween, no Thanksgiving, no Christmas.
They even canceled
There's
ACL.
no holidays in 2020.
I cannot make it through this year if we cancel Christmas, okay?
Christmas is gone. New Year's Eve, man. New Year's Eve, don't even think about it.
Christmas is gone.
You want to go back?
I have a DVD copy of Pee-wee's Christmas special, and that means Christmas is on.
Yo, Adam, Earth Day is canceled. Flag Day is canceled. Like everything is canceled.
I mean, just Thanksgiving alone, like get an entire family together. Like there's plenty of stories of like, oh, this was a family 11 and 4 of them died because they got together. Like there's tons of those. And you're like, yeah, I'm gonna stay home, have my turkey and order it from HEB and Grubhub or some shit. And I'm staying my ass home, put that shit in the oven. We're going to eat and then we're going to go to watch a movie and then go to bed. That's what's going to happen. Grandpa ain't coming.
Cool. Well, next thing, I have another question. Or you have something you wanted to, were you still going back?
I was gonna say, wear your fucking mask.
Oh yeah, wear your mask. Basically,
pissed off.
So many people in different industries want to get back to work. Just wear your mask.
I really don't get it. Like,
we're 4 months in, and this is still a debate. This is still top headline news on in all the like about wear your mask or not wear your mask.
I'm so sick of people, and you're like, if it was just up to you, like you're like you're doing this, but it's like, yeah, I do drugs. I mean, not me, but I'm saying, yeah, I do drugs. It's just me, my body, blah blah blah. But like, no, it's not about you, motherfucker. It's about everybody else. But they don't see that. They all of a sudden they're all like, oh, freedom, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, bitch, just shut up and get the mask on.
Exhausting. Did y'all see that article that came out? And I'm gonna quote this article, and please take a big old grain of salt with it, because I just saw it floating around Facebook. Could be bullshit, but it was a study that said lower cognitive ability linked to not wearing a mask. And they don't mean lower cognitive ability as in you're dumb, like dumber people are less likely to wear masks. It actually had to do with memory. Oh no.
We lost Crystal.
Hopefully we'll see. Give her a moment. Yeah, she just texted me she lost connection, but she'll be back.
Keep going.
Okay, so lower cognitive ability, that's the headline, and everyone, of course, jumps on that. You're dumb. And, you know, sure, take it that way. But I actually clicked into this article, and it was more about memory and short-term memory and how that functions. And I think there's something about the thinking of herd mentality with, like, masks and vaccines that's like thinking about this is something that I do personally that impacts others through a spider web. It sounds like there's something about that thought that certain people, like, they just want the world to be more black and white, and it's hard for them to make that leap of logic. And I'm not trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's annoying and selfish and awful, and wear your fucking mask. I agree, but it is interesting that there's like a link there.
But it is, at the end of the day, it is logical when the a representative from Florida, which right now is horrible in terms of number, like record number of cases every day. This representative went on CNN or like a news channel, and it was like, Florida's doing great. We're doing fine. And the anchor was like, oh, you wait, what? Like you, and he goes, well, you guys are quoting the wrong stats. You're talking about cases where it's really the deaths that matter. And the lady's like, wait, but you know, they can turn that way, but also your hospitals are overwhelmed. People are freaking out. You have record numbers of cases every day. You're the epicenter of this crisis. And the guy was like, no, we're not. I'm like, why are you trying to fight this? And no. And then they dare to compare the US and say that science is backing up whatever he's saying. Like, oh yeah, we can our kids should go back to school because, you know, we're last right now in the West world. Like France is going back to school, Germany's going back to school, so we should just follow suit because, you know, we're the US and, you know, our doctor blah 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 says it's cool, so we should go back.
The debate's like tiring. Like I can't have it anymore. It feels like I'm talking to like brick walls of people that like, oh, like and still to this day, like Trump will have a conference and he's like, yeah, we're testing more than any other nation. That's why we're making new cases. Like testing doesn't make a new case. You're just even if you don't test, that person is still positive walking around, still infecting people.
That's my favorite logic that he has used yet is, oh, if the more we test, the more cases we're going to have. So I just said, don't test. It's like,
yeah,
how is that?
It's annoying.
And he wants hospital to send data to the White House now.
It's ostrich syndrome.
Keep
your head in the ground.
That's nuts.
That is nuts.
Man, I swear to God, if Biden can't win, he doesn't have to do shit. That's the thing. Doesn't have to do anything but say, see the insane dude in the White House? I just say the opposite. But never underestimate the American people. I've learned that since I've been in this country.
Yeah. The mask, like the bucking against wearing the mask when it's such an easy thing. Like, okay, I was raised on all the same media that like people, I don't know, of my generation were raised on. And I the reason I say this is because pretty much every story I grew up with is all about seeing through the bullshit that other people don't see through, man. You know, like every story that we teach kids is the lone hero, you know, it's this American exceptionalism. It's the like, everyone was thinking this, but someone knew what was right and they stood up for what was right. That's and bullshit. God damn it. That's the narrative that we do. It's Mr. Smith Goes to Washington all the way up through fucking Goosebump books. And that's what I was raised on. And I like it, you know, but I like that fun individualist narrative. It's fun, but I think that some people just took that totally sideways. And now there's it's almost like, if you're like a hipster college kid and you're like, I don't want to admit that Justin Timberlake's music is good, but you know it's good.
You can't. He's good.
He's good.
Have you watched Trolls? Like,
no, I love JT, but I'm saying like when I was like a hipster high school kid, I had to be convinced to give JT a shot, and then I was like, you're right, this is magnificent pop music.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, too. But it's the same thing with like it's weird. It's like all these anti-mask people just strike me as like hipster kids who can't fucking like something that's popular. They're like everyone's wearing masks, therefore it's lame to wear a mask. I hate it. Yeah. That's end rant.
Yeah.
Go ahead, and now I'm gonna close this topic with a video I found. Go ahead. That's
No,
gonna
like
piss me off.
it's exactly what I agree with what you just said, Adam, because I feel like a lot of people, they're not even necessarily like Trump supporters, but they have this inner thing that wants to repel them from whatever the majority is saying. They're like,
Going
oh,
against the grain.
the majority or the left is saying, they're all saying that we have to wear a mask. It's like, so it can't be right. Like they're sheep because they're all saying the exact same thing. I'm gonna go and say the opposite thing, and because I'm woke now. Like I'm not gonna follow the. It's not being a sheep when it's correct. If so many people are saying something, don't just throw it away as like they're following the majority. They're not thinking for themselves. Maybe they're saying the same thing because it's true. Maybe they found something that's true and something that's helping. But I see so many people that like that's the source of why they're saying these things, and it's
being
frustrating.
contrary.
I mean, yeah, I get going against the grain, going against the system and all that stuff, but this is not the time. Go against the system another day, later, or go against systemic racism. If you want to go against the system, you really want to contribute. But a fucking mask. I mean, you can't even walk into some stores back then, like it's years ago. Yeah, a few months ago. Like, no shirt, no service, no sandals, no service. Everybody was cool with that. And now Walmart goes, no mask. You have to have a mask on, and the dude pulls out a gun in the Walmart. It's nuts. It's nuts.
This comes down to leadership. That's it. It comes down to leadership.
It's,
Fish rots from the head, right?
yeah, but there's a thing about well, let me play this clip real quick because this is.
Wait, before you play the clip, can I say one thing about sheep?
Go ahead.
All the sheep that move together to go to the barn live through the night, and the sheep that wander off and think they're cool little individuals who aren't sheep, they die in the wilderness. So it's okay to be a sheep and go in the barn with the fellow sheep and stay safe for the night, okay?
Yeah.
Can we stop slandering sheep every time we disagree with people?
I know.
So here, check this out. Don't shut her down! Don't shut her down! You guys see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Stand down. Stand down. Stand down.
And there's kids in the place.
What law is being broken?
Refuse to respect her city master. You serve grilled sandwiches.
Do the right thing. Do the right thing. What happened? It's wrong what you're doing. This is America.
Oh.
This is America.
Look at you slipping now.
It's not communist.
Look at you slipping.
You want to call me selfish
This is
for not
America.
wearing a mask? I want to say to you, all the people calling me selfish, you're the one who's trying to force me a medical procedure so you can feel more safe.
The second that. Listen to this.
He called wearing a mask a
You
medical
have a right to
procedure.
stay in your house.
Yeah.
You have every right to wear a mask if you want.
Shut
Don't
that
shove it on
window.
me.
Shut
You
that
have every
window.
right.
Shut
You have
that
every right to
window.
stay in
All right, I can't take these people. This is
Subtitle crosstalk. That's 2020 right there. Is that
Yeah.
screenshot?
I like the fact that wearing a mask is a medical procedure.
A medical procedure.
So invasive.
don't shove it on me. Don't shove it at me. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And honestly, and this is gonna fuck it. It's gonna sound mean, but these are the people you're like, you know what? If there was, let's say there was a zombie outbreak or whatever, and these people are like, well, I don't want to stay home. Like, okay, go outside. You die first. You go out there and have fun, and then we won't see you again.
we're literally seeing how people like this would act during an outbreak. That's
Seriously,
exactly what it is.
And it's always the few that fuck it up for everybody. Always.
This is
Like,
the depressing
most
problems
people,
with collective action solutions. But it's funny that earlier, Obi, you were saying people rebelling against the mainstream, but you said something I thought was really interesting because you said people rebelling against the majority or the left. And it occurred to me when you said that oftentimes the majority is characterized as the left. I think, we see majority things that are like, hey, we want to support science. Hey, we want to support racial justice. And those somehow, they could be 60%, 70% of the country, and they get characterized as the left, which is weird how the spectrum gets pushed like that in favor of the people on the right.
And you want to know what another point I realized? That other side that's not the left like to call themselves the silent majority. So it's like you want to live in two realities. Like either the left is the majority that you're fighting against, or you're the majority on the right. Which one is it? But it's like it's the whole logic of like Trump could say something at 2 p.m. and then at 4 p.m. say the exact opposite. Like you can't pick and choose which answer you like at the given time. Like something has to be fact at some point.
It's pick and choose. It's like I would like to have the power in situations and be the majority and know that I'm always backed up. But also, I like feeling like a victim and feeling oppressed because then I have something.
It's rigged, folks. It's rigged.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I come here to escape that voice.
Come on now. It's rigged.
And
So
it's
I can't do a good Trump, but
claiming the stuff is a hoax. Like you know what's also interesting that I also noticed is you ever heard the saying? I think Charlamagne the God said this saying. Nobody cares about the truth when the lie is more entertaining. And that's like what I feel with all the people that were in February or mid-March when this quarantine started happening that were calling COVID a hoax. Like, oh, this is a hoax. This is like a democratic agenda. But then like the next couple hours or days later, they start posting about, oh, like you can't force me to wear a mask or something. Now they don't ever go back and correct themselves about calling it a hoax. They just kind of move on. Like nobody ever thinks nobody takes like accountability. Like whenever they got something incorrect, they just want to move on and pretend like it never happened. Like,
if you can control the, and this is what they've done well in other countries, is that, and this is what goes back to what you're saying, Crystal, about leadership. Like if you can control the narrative from the top and say, look, this is what's happening. I'm gonna talk to y'all every day, every other day. And these are the measures that we have in place. This is who we're working with and all that stuff. Just make you feel safe. Not necessarily safe, but just like it's gonna be okay. That's really all he had to say. Look, we're gonna be fine. Not brag about, ratings and whatever distraction that comes off your orange head, every 5 seconds. But every leader, in Europe for the most part, it's like, look, the information was clear. There was some people who just didn't accept it or felt like it was mishandled. The French will never be happy no matter what you do anyway, but they handled it right. And now here, the thing is, you live in a country where everybody has an opinion now and makes use of it as much as possible. And so you're like, okay, if I want to decipher all this stuff, then that means I have to do my own research, which I don't want to do. And people are telling me that the CDC is a bunch of crooks, so I'm not going to believe that. So somebody that I like, says this, then I'll just agree with that, and then just keep going with my day. And so there's all this misinformation going around, and most of it is not necessarily accurate, and you just go by it because that's what people talk about. And it's sad. It's sad. It's very sad. No, okay, I'll stop.
So, what are y'all thoughts on cancel culture? Like, I'm seeing like a bunch of
Who got canceled lately?
Recently, within like the past couple hours, it's been Nick Cannon with he made a anti-Semitic. I can't even say that word correctly.
Anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semitic comments, and the same thing and then also with the Goya food company, the CEO praised Trump, and then now people want to cancel that brand and stuff. But I see it a lot when it's almost like there's no forgiveness or something, or maybe is cancel culture something that y'all agree with? I don't know.
No,
I have my thoughts on it because I really don't like cancel culture. I don't think that one person is a voice.
Overall?
As a movement, as a reaction to something, because I feel like not to make it, it's like it's case by case. But like I'll say, for instance, like in the Goya, that's the way you pronounce that company, right? Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah,
Like
Goya,
that with the CEO praising Trump for being a great leader and stuff. I don't think you cancel that brand because this one person feels a certain way about somebody, because that company employs millions of people. Like we punish all those millions of people because of what this person who happens to be at the top said? Like no, like it's just they made an idiotic thing. But I don't really like the cancel culture like method.
Go ahead.
I think part of me feels like if we're going to make, as America could make corporations into people and have certain rights, then if their CEOs or their owners are going to say things, then they are going to be held accountable as people, where the public will judge and will boycott. I mean, it's capitalism. If we want to not buy their products or use their services or support their talents because of something that we don't align our values with theirs, then that is part of the American right, correct? But
yes,
I don't know.
I really like that point of the fact that we've spent so many years, like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to try and repeat exactly what you just said. I just really like the idea that we've spent so many years defending the rights of corporations, so there's consequences that follow suit. I'm going to say, I don't think cancel culture, this is my stance. I don't think cancel culture is real. I think that
It's a hoax.
I think it's a hoax. I think that it's a term that we ascribe to a normal thing that we've always done. I think that when people act like assholes, we say, we don't want to talk to you right now. You did a thing we don't like, it grosses us out, but we're not going to talk to you. We don't want to see what you have to say for a while. I don't think it's permanent. I think that things like Nick Cannon, like what he said, I mean, like that was very rife with different things, because on the one hand, he was like, am I going to get mad at him for saying that white people have done awful things? No, he's not wrong. Am I going to say, bro, that sounded anti-Semitic. You're kind of playing into some old hateful shit. Yeah, that's not cool. But I don't think Nick Cannon's going away forever. I don't think if someone is a real toxic piece of shit who's done awful things, we generally don't want to hear from them again. Like, I don't think it's cancel culture is not the reason we don't really hear from O.J. Simpson anymore, you know? Like, we don't hear from him anymore because people are like, yeah, it feels gross to engage with him on the internet, so no thanks. I don't think that's cancel culture. I just think that's saying, like, hey, we don't really want to talk to you right now. And I honestly haven't really seen it happen to anyone who hasn't been able to come back from it if they earnestly wanted to learn from their mistake. Well, Harvey Weinstein's a terrible monster, though.
Yeah, exactly.
But he hasn't done what Adam's talking. He hasn't asked for remorse or forgiveness, but other people have, like Kathy Griffin. Like people try to cancel Kathy Griffin, but she was remorseful for what she did, and she's come back since.
I think that you can't. Well, first of all, cancel culture is a movement. But I think it happens at the individual level. If you're not comfortable with whatever the CEO of Chick-fil-A does because he doesn't support, is it gay rights is one of those things, then you don't go to Chick-fil-A, you don't want to, make that guy richer. That's on you.
Can I just say that's a perfect example back, because I haven't had Chick-fil-A since 2009. I fucking love Chick-fil-A. I grew up on it. Their nuggets are amazing.
Because of that dude?
Yes. I haven't had it for 11 years.
Not because it's gross? All right.
No. I love Chick-fil-A. They're amazing. It tastes amazing. I haven't had it for 11 years because it's not just that he dislikes gay people. It's that, and that would probably be enough for me. But it's also that they donate to causes that end up giving money that prosecute gay people in different. It's terrible. I just don't want to give my money to that. But but can I just say that I never knew to call that canceling until a few years ago. That's why I'm saying I don't think cancel culture is real. I think we've always said, hey, I don't like where they give money. I don't want to give them my money. I don't, and it goes back to what Crystal's saying is if companies are people, then the leadership of those companies, that's who's responsible for the livelihood of their employees, not us.
Yeah,
like,
but if you
we're not ending people at Goya's livelihoods because we think it's gross. The CEO shouldn't have said that shit. He put his employees in danger by opening themselves up to a boycott for thinking a shitty thing. Like, that's
boycott's
me.
really
I might be on an
happening,
extreme end here, but I just don't think cancel culture is dangerous as it seems.
Do you know of a brand or corporation where one of the executives said some stupid shit, and then the company went down? Just
That's a
from
good point.
hashtag
No.
hashtag boycott Starbucks because they kicked out a couple black people. You know, hashtag boycott Chick-fil-A, hashtag boycott Goya.
I think that the
They say
ultimate
that
thing
they say
is
that for 3 days.
any
and it goes
company
viral.
is going to be problematic.
It's going to be what?
I just think any company, any capitalist company is going to be to a certain extent problematic. And I feel like right now we're struggling with our system so much that we want to point the finger at certain people and actors in the situation. But ultimately, Starbucks, you thinking of that, like,
Are you going to get rid of Starbucks?
they've been canceled by the right and the left because
but they're still here.
But this is
exactly.
You're not gonna hit their pockets just by not going for a week.
But I see the same. It's like that same like mentality. I see it happening with other stuff. Like, for instance, it's happened like recently with in regards to Black Lives Matter, where there's like this article where people are saying like the founder or the co-founder of Black Lives Matter, she did an interview where she claims to be like this Marxist or something or whatever. So then the right is taking this to like kind of blow this up as, oh, the creator of this Black Lives Matter hates America. I can no longer support this. But think about it. This is the largest civil rights movement ever, like in history. I don't think all those millions of people were protesting for her or believe what she believed. Like, the movement is like bigger than that one person. So to go through with this whole notion where even if the person's at the top or is they're their individual person. If you don't like them, cool, you don't like them. But this movement's bigger than one person. So canceling, like, so people like kind of relating it to even if they're the person at the top, like relating like, hey, if that person believes this, everybody that supports it believes it too. Like, I don't believe that same logic, but I'm speaking up for something that's way bigger than any individual person. It's a bigger movement. And I don't like seeing a whole mob of people because of one thing that somebody does that you don't agree with, and then you just discredit the entire movement from that point on. It's stupidity to me.
Okay,
let
me add this then. We talked about, there was a story in Austin about the owner of a bar that did some stupid shit, and now everybody's like, we're gonna shut the bar down because of the owner of the bar that was, I mean, some horrendous stuff.
It was pretty unbelievable.
Yes.
I'm
not gonna go there. The name of the bar is Unbelievable.
It
was a total circus.
I didn't want to. It was a pun that was right there that we had to take.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. But anyway, but there was going to be, a protest and a march to shut down the bar. So this is the guy at the top who owns the place, who did some stupid shit, and you have all the people underneath, the bartenders, the barbacks, the door guys, all those people, right? That could potentially lose their job because the guy at the top did some fucked up shit.
But whose fault is that?
What? Who did the
like a few podcasts ago when I was on, we started the program by saying fuck, and we don't have to say it now, but the owner's name, we said fuck that guy. And
fuck
I'm
that
just
guy.
saying,
Did you say fuck the bar?
No, we said fuck.
We said his name.
Can I say his name?
Do you want to say his name?
I'm just gonna say. Can I say it?
Yeah, go for it.
Fuck Brandon Cash.
All right, fuck Brandon Cash. Everybody.
But that's the thing is, like, we said fuck Brandon Cash, right? Like, now if that bar goes under and those employees lose their jobs, are we to blame for saying fuck Brandon Cash? We don't want to give him money, or is he to blame for putting his employees in a terrible position?
Is both.
I think it's him. I think he's the one who gets to monitor his ecosystem.
Yeah, but also if you, even as an employee, if you choose to work for someone like that, knowing what he does, are you responsible too?
Well, yeah, of course you are. If you know.
Choice. You might not have a choice either. We need to remember that part of it. you know.
Yeah, people
That's a
like
good point.
it's kind of everyone at your job, do you kind of double check their whole background and what they stand for, things like that? Like
Yeah.
you're there to kind of make a living. Like not everyone has like this background check on everyone that they do and agrees, or everyone doesn't agree with like what everyone's beliefs are. But it's just, do I get punished because somebody is doing the opposite of what I am doing if they're at the top? Like I think I feel like individuals are responsible for individuals, like, and
I mean, for yourself,
we need a huh
like
yeah, like
individuals are responsible for themselves.
from anything that any company that they represent or whatever, like focus on that's the person that did the injustice. That's who should be punished. I
Mhm.
don't think just because they happen to be the leader of something, or a CEO, or a part of another bigger entity, like that whole entity has to struggle because that one person took it down.
Yeah. So
It's
let me ask this again. So, any of these uh, boycott hashtag activist things you see on Twitter or wherever else, saying, okay, fuck Goya. It should have been fuck whoever the CEO was,
yeah.
I
right?
think though
Is that
he had an
is that what you're
opportunity to
saying?
step down.
Yeah, but
I'm
that's not gonna happen. Let's be
but
realistic.
that's true. But in that case, I mean, you know, if you're
Oh,
giving that company money and he decides to give that money to someone you don't like, I see what you're saying, Obi. I totally do. Like,
Uh-huh.
and I want to say from a personal angle, I've been involved. Like, okay, so go back years. I used to throw a regular show at Spider House. After we retired that show, about 16 months after we retired the show, stopped booking, some like pretty fucked up stuff came out about one of the co-owners of Spider House
yeah.
sexually harassing employees.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't at that point, I wasn't doing a show there. I didn't feel compelled to really weigh in publicly because, you know, I wasn't connected. But if I'd still been running a semi-successful residency at this bar, I think I would have said, okay, now I need to think about how I feel about working for this company. But I had some privilege and power because I was running an event, right? So what about the artists that come to that event? And that's where I think Crystal has a really good point, is some people, it's the place they're going to go. It's the place they need to go. We don't always have the option. Anyway, I guess that is all to say that I see your point about the trickle down, but I think at a certain extent, I still kind of default to this idea that if leadership is saying something that's wrong, then they are the ones hurting
Because
everyone.
back
Mm-hmm.
see, I agree. Like you asked the question, which company has this happened that has survived afterwards? I thought of one, Uber. The CEO at the top of Uber was doing a lot of fucked up stuff, and
Right.
that company as a whole chose to remove that person from their company instead of letting it just take down the entire company where everyone's like boycotting Uber. They
Right.
removed the founder of that company, and it's still thriving because they took the evil element out of that company, and it's been able, because they knew it's the individual, it's not the views of the company.
Right. So my
Like,
point
so
is the hashtag Goya thing should be about the dude, not about the company.
Yeah, but that's not as sexy as hashtag Goy. If you say hashtag the
Oh,
dude, whatever his name is, you're not going to be able to really do it. Like, it's easier for me to take an action of like hashtag fuck Amazon than hashtag fuck Bezos. What am I going to do to Bezos? But Amazon, I cannot buy stuff. I can say something about the company where my money is going to be going because money is the power. Like, I don't go to Taco Bell anymore. That was the only fast food place that I went to. And I found out that the person or one of the conglomerates above it was donating to Trump. Like, well, guess I can't go to Home Depot or Taco Bell anymore. And that's my choice. Not that my little $5 burrito is going to do any difference, but you know.
Hey,
well, but it does, because there's a bunch of people that will do
Sexiness.
the same thing, and it does.
Right.
I see the effect that it has. Yeah, these companies do hurt when people take that approach, and it sucks out like tons of money out of the company when people choose to boycott it. But it's just
if capitalism does its job,
yeah.
if capitalism did its job, it would be, hey, someone on top did some fucked up shit. A lot of people choose not to spend money with that company, so that company has to like takes a nosedive, and then decide, oh shit, we need to do something. You need to get rid of this guy at the top if you want to still be in business. That's how it's supposed to work.
That is how, absolutely. The company should say, oh, this employee is a liability to our bottom line.
Exactly.
We had in the chat here, Angela Reyes talking about, I just wanted to shout out the chat a little bit.
What's up, Angela?
Angela.
Hello. Talking about how something does linger on, like referencing my Chick-fil-A story, how like once that impact is made, that is also, last year Chick-fil-A mentioned how they were going to stop donating to those companies. And I got really excited. I was like, I'm back. And then they rescinded that and went back. And now, no more Chick-fil-A. Very recently, I learned one thing a little while ago, which is that there is a pack of 5 individual Taco Bell franchise owners, I think, that call themselves the Taco Bell pack that have donated to Trump. But they're 5 individual franchise owners in the Southwest that aren't part of Taco Bell corporate and aren't part of Taco Bell Texas. So I thought that I was in the clear eating there. But if I'm wrong, please don't tell me I'm wrong. But if I am,
I could be wrong. I really hope somebody tells me that I'm
up a
wrong.
list
I need my like. I need my Mexican pizza.
because they just introduced a grilled cheese burrito, guys, and this is difficult.
Big deal. Adam, I'm with you on the Chick-fil-A. My campus had a Chick-fil-A, and I was there every morning eating breakfast there, except for on Sundays because they weren't open on Sundays, which is so sad. But then when I found out, I was like surviving off a Chick-fil-A for years, and then I found out everything. I was like, oh, that was my first company that I completely stopped buying things from because of a social or political reason.
Yeah, actually, me too. And the first breakup is always the hardest.
It's true.
Oh man.
I drive by and it's like,
we had such good times together.
Those hash browns with honey.
Oh my god.
I love you. All right, that's awesome.
Soul Cycle, Equinox Fitness. The chairman
No worries there.
held up $250,000 per ticket fundraiser for Trump's re-election. Marvel Entertainment. They support Trump, so you're gonna not see Marvel movies?
Wait, Ike Perlmutter does, but not. So Marvel Comics has had questionable, but not Marvel.
The comic book
Studios.
division, yes.
Not studios. You can watch the movies, okay? It's fine.
Okay. Shell Oil, the UFC.
I don't think anyone was like thinking Shell Oil was super woke to begin.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course not. Of course not. WWE, Lena McMahon, of course. Let's see who else. New Balance, the shoes.
Of course,
that totally tracks.
Hobby Lobby.
That tracks with how.
CVS, fucking VS. Planet Fitness, AT&T,
Wait,
Charles Schwab.
Sorry, can we talk, since you brought up CVS, has anybody done a test at CVS yet, the COVID test?
No, I don't go to CVS.
I've been told that you have to self-administer your own test when you go through the CVS. What kind of fucking bullshit is that? I'm sorry, I've had the test twice now, and there's no fucking way I'm gonna shove that thing up my nose far enough for it to actually be valid. I don't trust any of those results.
Crystal, I have to put my eye drops in like this. There's no way I'm putting in some Q-tip to touch my brain.
No.
I had to close my eyes. I had my sitting on my hands so I wouldn't pull the person in. It was bad.
That's some like 127 hours shit. Like, no, I cannot amputate my own arm. You need to do it.
Self-serve, come right in. No, but there's a lot here. Snapchat.
Well, we knew Snapchat was
Estee
evil.
Lauder. What is that? Isn't that a makeup and shit?
Cosmetics, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Well, you'll keep finding. You'll
keep going down the list.
companies.
Right now, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out if I want to continue on Facebook or not. That has been I don't know how to not leave Facebook.
What is the conflict with Facebook? Because I've been seeing a lot of people say the same thing with Facebook.
Facebook is. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Buck.
No, you go ahead. You explain.
All I was going to say is Facebook has, like, honestly, one of the main communication points I have with a lot of my family is through Facebook, as sad as that sounds, but because I'm traveling so much and I'm not ever home and I hate talking on the phone, I just won't answer it. But that has been a main communication point to a lot of family near and distant. and then some groups that just I keep in contact with. But
Well, Facebook's been in trouble because they didn't want, there was so like freedom of speech that they didn't take any action to shut down any false information that was spread on the network.
right.
And so but Twitter instead was like, yeah, if you share some shit that's not factual or that's fucked up, we have a policy, then you got to go. But
Or they'll
Facebook was like,
flag
no.
it.
Yeah.
They don't even have to limit, they'll just flag it, which has been, and that's been my problem with Facebook, is that they've taken the stance where they have become an active participant in this misinformation spread. And I mean, I don't know how to, there are people in my life that have been caught up in that misinformation, and it is exhausting having to try to figure out who those people are and talk to them and try to steer them back into, you know, the science, if you would.
Because now I saw recently that now they're trying to take this stance with, they're saying like absolutely no political content on their platform, and people have an issue with that too. So I'm just like,
everything's political. There's no way to not be.
Yeah, it's like, it's like, there's no win-win for the company. It kind of seems like, but
I just want to say,
but a lot of people feel strongly that they want to. No, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, dude. You had a thought to
that
finish. My bad.
Yeah, it's the political ads that they're able to pay to put on there that are blatant with misinformation. I think there are lines that can be drawn, and there are, I don't know. Anyways, you were gonna say, Obi.
No, I'm done. What was it, Adam?
So anyways, I don't know what to do with my platform on Facebook. I want to leave it because I want to not support that kind of platform and at least make my own little stand, but I don't know where else to go, and that's a really
Even if you use WhatsApp is owned by Facebook.
So is Insta.
So is Instagram.
Instagram, yep. Instagram
you can't get
too.
away. You can't get away from that creepy fuck.
It's
He is creepy. I'm sorry, Mark Zuckerberg
no,
is
he's
creepy.
creepy. Yeah, no, it's true.
He drinks water like. No, I'm sorry, I'm not.
Well, that's Trump.
Yeah, but he's weird. He's weird.
Stop canceling people for how they drink water back.
I know, right?
I'm still on Facebook,
dude.
Shit. We're streaming on Facebook.
Even though he drinks water, that he can walk down big ramps. Remember that he can walk down the longest ramps.
You know, I had a conversation recently with a friend about how, you know, in this day and age, like the rate at which technology is improving is crazier than ever. Like if you look between, I mean, we're old enough, I think, to remember the 90s. The 90s up until now, the curve is just like, you know, shot up. And today it's like, look, the more data you have, you know, the more powerful you are. And you think of Facebook, you think of Instagram, you think of Twitter, you think of Amazon, you're like, these people know everything about you. The way you shop, the way you dress, what you buy, where you live, what you like. And that's scary as hell. Mm-hmm. And so it's weird because I don't think people are aware of it, because you know there's data that you voluntarily give, like when you share shit on Facebook and you tag it or you hashtag things, it tracks all of that, and then they just sell it to companies, and next thing you know, you were looking for a car because you talked about a car, you know, and all of a sudden all these car ads start popping up, but you're like, and people are willing to give away privacy for this sense of security, and you're like, okay, where's the line? Because we're basically making these companies more and more powerful because they have all this data, and data's where it's at. I was wondering, have you guys stopped sharing as much because you're aware of all this, or how do you?
It's not even just sharing though, and I hate to sound like this conspiracy, they're listening. And I tested this where my friends and I started talking about an opossum just to see what would happen. And within hours, each of our phones and Facebooks and all this had ads that had something to do with possum shirts, or it was insane. Yeah. They're listening.
Yeah, they're definitely listening.
Right now.
I don't even think that.
Fuckers.
Yeah.
Talking about y'all.
Not a conspiracy. That happens every single, I mean, okay, so y'all know I like movies, y'all know I like to buy movies. It's the Criterion sale right now. Mm-hmm. Twice a year Barnes & Noble does half off on all Criterion movies, once in July, once in November, so it's happening now. So I talking to my girlfriend, Criterion sale. Instantly, I start getting ads, not just for Criterion sale, but for the specific movies that I don't have. And I don't know how they even know at this point what is on my wish list. Mentally, it's weird. It's not just that it's listening; it's that it's listening and learning, and like is as smart as a friend. Like I think I would trust
Smarter.
Yeah.
My friends don't know what I like.
Exactly. The Amazon algorithm will buy me a better Christmas gift than anyone I know.
Yeah.
It's true.
Amazon's my
we have
bestie. I mean, it knows.
we have a digital profile like at this company, and they know us better than we know each other.
You go on Amazon, and I mean, of course, it's doing better than ever. And how many times, like their biggest feature when you shop on there is they're gonna upsell you 10 times by the time you scroll all the way down. If you scroll all the way down, this is what people like. This is what people buy when they buy
You're
this.
talking
shit.
about the like
hey,
people
here's
who bought
another
this
one.
also bought this sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Oh, here's your history. Remember the shit you looked at like last week? It's still here. You want to get it?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And
But
you decided last week you couldn't afford this, but treat yourself.
Yeah, it's your birthday. Go for it.
even
Your
Angela,
wife deserves this.
Angela in the chat said she won't even get an Alexa.
I don't either. I have Google.
Neither.
No way. No
I have
way.
a Google thing on my TV, and I'm like, even if when I'm listening to a podcast or whatever, my TV starts like to listen, and then it will say, "Did you mean blah blah blah?" I'm like, "No, shut the fuck up! I was listening to the podcast."
I haven't even used Siri on my phone, and I've had an iPhone since I don't even know. I've never used Siri.
I don't like this shit. I really.
You don't have to, Crystal. Siri's still listening to you. Siri's your best friend.
Oh, I thought it was going to start talking to me now. I'm like, no, bitch.
If you turn it on right now, I wonder what she'll pick up and look up. According to Wikipedia.
I know.
Like, I mean, at this point, I just kind of given into. I just know that all my apps have these profiles on me, like all the WhatsApp, the Instagram, the Facebook. The only thing that I've like consciously have not like went out and joined is TikTok, because TikTok is like is a Chinese like government agency that like that's who's behind it, but they make fun videos that you can kind of do a dance to and all these skits. Like if the CIA or the FBI made an app that you can go and dance on and stuff, like, would you trust it? I wouldn't trust it.
Of course not.
You wouldn't know if they did.
So why would I? But why would I do it for?
Oh, you haven't heard about Zoom?
Company?
You haven't heard about Zoom, man?
Zoom's,
I got bad news for you.
Oh, man. If you told me that, my heart would sink. Like,
no, they have security issues. They have security issues.
Damn.
Oh,
The government doesn't use
joke.
Zoom.
I said that as a joke, but like
It's
not
true.
being shocked at all.
No, it is
Yeah.
true. They do have like security leaks and all kinds of problems because they didn't anticipate everybody to jump on their platform when this thing hit. And they're like, oh shit, we got to fix all the bad stuff that we thought were bugs, but we didn't do anything about. But,
you can't even escape this though, even if you don't talk around your phone. Like if you use your credit card or your debit card to buy things,
dude, the amount of things that people are willing to give up just for convenience is insane. When the idea that you could go, I think it was Whole Foods, where like you go, you shop, and you walk out, like you don't even go to the checkout line anymore.
What?
Yeah. So you take your card, you go into a Whole Foods, and it's linked to your Amazon. So as you put in your stuff in your card, I don't know how
you
it does
scan?
it.
Yeah,
you scan it on
each item has like a chip in it. So
Yes.
when you walk out the store, it knows that you already have an account at the store, and they charge it to your account. So
Yeah,
you don't
you
have
just
to
walk
go
out.
to the cash register. It's like that store is only in a couple markets. It's not like everywhere yet. But yeah,
Yes.
that is
That's where it's
real
at.
thing. That's where we're moving towards.
And then they have apps now that like, the Internet of Things where everything is connected, from your phone, your fridge, your oven, your security system at the house, everything is all connected. Alexa's listening. Siri is.
I'm not into that the
seriously,
smart home thing.
But I mean, the thing is, it's happening whether you choose to participate or not. Like even your Roomba has a layout of your house. And this
I don't
is
need a
not
Roomba though.
conspiracy
I have
The
a
thing
broom.
that woke me up the thing that woke
I
me
have
up
a
the
cat.
most.
Just swim him around. I did do that today. Don't
did
call
that
me
yesterday.
anxiety.
Wow. But the
He
thing
likes
that
it, it's
woke me up the
fine.
most to like how technology is like listening to us is have any of y'all seen the movie Snowden? Like that was based
No.
off of, like, watch that movie because all the stuff that he went through, like with the government listening into your comment, like I did not realize that they could do some of the things that they can do, like based off of how that movie went.
Lou,
It's insane.
the
It's
sh-
insane the stuff that they can track on us,
the shit they
and
do in
it
movies,
scared the shit out of me.
the shit you see in movies with the FBI and the CIA, and you look for the guy, and then you see the satellite that zooms in, and then here's the dude's phone number, here's his real name,
Enhance.
and that's what's happening. I saw there was I think it was John Oliver did a whole thing about facial recognition a few weeks ago, and you talk about this small company. This dude was like, look, if I type in your name right now in my database, because his system does, it collects like pictures of you or something, it puts in a big database. And the journalist was like, all right, type in my name. And it pulled up a bunch of pictures or stuff that he posted, that other people posted about him. And then a picture of the journalist when he was 16 showed up. So it was like, wait, hold on. My name is nowhere near this picture. It doesn't, but for some reason, your software was smart enough to know that that's me. And there was a whole thing about like all the companies like Google and Facebook, like, we got to get our hands on this shit because, we got to facial record. It's just data. We're just going to mine all this stuff and then use it for profit and marketing and all that stuff. And
I think
If that's the same facial recognition software that you're talking about, they were also trying to get police forces were trying to get a hold of it. And I think they just ruled that they're not able to use it. If I'm trying to find the Clearview, is that the one?
yeah,
I could be wrong.
Oh,
I think that sounds familiar. Yeah. There's another one called Skynet of all names.
they chose Skynet.
That's
Skynet.
not
They use Skynet as their name. Like, we thought it'd be good, homage. I'm like, no, man, you're not helping yourself here.
Yeah.
And there was another one that came. It's the they can have like Obama speak, but it's not really him speaking.
Deepfake.
But it looks like him.
right. Deep fake.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
Deepfake is the thing we're gonna have to kind of keep an eye on. I think.
How do you do that? If you just
I don't know. I'm just saying,
there's
like,
no way to get to, like, it looked like him, and it looks like he said those things.
Yeah.
But
There's even like porn companies are trying to do the same thing. Like,
I'm mad at that.
like if there's like a famous like actress that you know of, but you want to see her in that porn, like they're able to fake it like it's her in it and put it out, and people, and it's
porn
like
always
this is
ahead
turning
of
into like
its time.
like a lawsuit. Like you can't because how do you tell who's doing what? Like if you use that same technology to like do a crime, like and put somebody else in the scene of that crime, like, but you can't call that just it's an animation or it's a visualization of what if this person did it. Like it's
I mean,
we're walking a fine line.
when you think about just a few years ago, when Google came out with their Google glasses at South by, remember that shit?
I hated those.
And then everybody was like, dude, this is way too creepy. Like, it's not going to work. And it tanked.
This isn't cool, Google.
Yeah.
not
Like I can
cool.
record you and you don't even know. People are like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And yet, fast forward to now and, they're going to do it eventually. It's going to happen. There's no way this is not the next thing. Like you're wearing glasses and then you just like, you have a hologram of like your directions and the weather and your text messages.
I mean, I think that's going to ultimately, be a media delivery system for a lot of us. But I think the big things to watch out for here with stuff like deepfakes and facial recognition software is it's funny how we always frame it. I think this is just some Cold War stuff, but that's a holdover from the Cold War mentality. We always frame it with government paranoia. But I think it's more private corporations that we need to be paranoid of. And it's them that are collecting it because, and police, private corporations and police, and the worst of all, privatized police. So, I think that we have some control over that corporate. We can opt out, but we probably won't. But I think the real thing to keep an eye on is making sure that technology like this stays away from local police forces. none of us are going to be able to stop, and not to be fatalist, but none of us are going to be able to stop the military from using tech however they want to, or stop the, NSA or CIA. But we can hopefully keep shit like this out of the hands of local police forces. And then, it's not going to impact people's individual lives as much as it impacts trends. And it's not to say that it isn't evil, but insofar as it is happening, I think the focus for individuals should be keeping this tech away from police departments, honestly.
Yeah, especially when they can't tell black people apart, like Terrell said in the comments.
Yes, well, like it's just like the old thing with Kodak film not being able to expose for black people because it was tested on white people.
And we can't win.
It's the same.
Win.
It's a technology. Like technology becomes inherently racist because of how it's designed.
Well, I want to circle. I want to circle back to circle back to the movie business. So, if this technology is actually getting to a point where, hey, you know what? We can shoot an entire movie now with no animals, just one actor. Here's Jungle Book. And everything is done so well that, it turns great. So you don't really need animals in your movie. And now you can actually go, you know what? I'm going to have, maybe one person play a bunch of people, or just like generate them and actually look like they're real people. And I'm not going to need actors no more. I can take, Joe Schmo and then put, Robert Downey Jr.'s face on him. I don't have to pay Robert Downey Jr. maybe.
You could do that, except for it's really fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not Robert Downey Jr.
The money.
I went up
technology.
That technology, though cool, and it's getting really, really good. I mean, Mandalorian alone, the technology that was used in that, as far as the background aspect goes, amazing. These are really big level tech jumps that we've done in Marvel. The same thing, big tech jumps that we've done. Fast the Furious, they did the face replacement when poor Paul Walker passed away mid through filming, and that was devastating. And they used his brother and they used his stunt double to be in his place, but they also used face replacement with Paul Walker to finish the movie, which you can tell in places, especially now when you watch it, the tech doesn't really stand in.
They did the same thing with Philip Seymour Hoffman too.
And Princess Leia in
Hunger Games. Like, he missed complete scenes and they just made a complete CG version of him.
I blank
but
out.
It all comes down to money.
Yeah, but if the technology is there, I mean, fast forward maybe 5-10 years from now, maybe more, that will be cheap. Because if we know something about technology, is that over time it does become less expensive.
I think though, your example of Jungle Book, I would pair with the example of Lion King and say that,
which was horrible, by the way.
That's what I'm saying, is that these things somewhat are on a spectrum, right? So yeah, we can create these worlds. I think the Wachowskis are exceptionally brilliant at creating worlds out of digital. I think Speed Racer's super slept on, really amazing film. And they created a whole world, right? But they still have the actors. And I think that's the thing with Lion King. Do I think technology will eventually catch up and be able to look like real life looks? Probably. But I don't know.
You want the experience?
I would just never bet against people. I would never.
I have a feeling that directors will miss working with the actors, the actual one-on-one, the personal connection, the building of the art, rather than the business side of it. I think.
Also,
it works. I think it works in waves, right?
I think the unions are going to give up their work.
Yeah, exactly. There's an art form. They're like, I don't think that art form. They love doing it. I don't think just because we can go in a room and you can tell all your ideas to a team of animators, you'll still get the same kind of soul in a movie, like, and people will be satisfied with it. Like, I think we have the technology to make a whole CG Godfather. Would you like to see that? No, we like seeing that heart and that warmth from the real actors.
I know,
and the
I'm talking
accidents.
to a bunch of movie people here. not
Yeah.
your average Joe Schmo who just
And we
wants
want to
see
keep our
people-
jobs. That's
Yeah,
why
we
we're
want
don't
we're
get me
job
wrong.
security.
I would
So
love for
back,
y'all to keep your
shut
job.
up.
I
will
Don't
say
put
as-
that into the ether.
as long as Christopher Nolan and Quentin Tarantino are alive, we're not going to see this become a mainstream form of film. They will always use actors.
Yeah.
I can probably name off a couple more directors, but I know for those two in particular that they're pretty true to the art and true to trying to make it
Hey,
as
worst case, they
practical.
actors can move to the video game world, and then there we need some acting because they used to be all fake. Now we need real people to actually do the game.
This is actually a great point back because video games are, I think, where you're gonna see that That is where
yeah.
that's happening. Digital creation of people. We just finished. My girlfriend and I just finished playing Last of Us Part 2. Fantastic story, amazing narrative, so well directed, so well told, and it is that. But it's still voice actors, and I think that same
Really?
with
They
real.
have a mocap.
Well, yeah, it's mocap, but voice acting. They're not digitally approximating the. And
Oh.
there's an unpredictability there. Okay, so I directed a couple episodes of a sitcom earlier this year. I will say, as someone who's directed things, I would hate if what I got on the film, on the file card, whatever, at the end of the day was exactly what I went into the day wanting. Because when actors make choices that surprise you or are based on the mood they're in or they ad-lib something, that's the magic. That's what makes us want to watch. I would hate to be able, I don't ever want to direct something where I can micromanage every aspect of a performance. That sounds awful because movies aren't made by one person.
Sure.
Not only that, but you would have to start making decisions for every single character that the actor usually makes. The actor builds the character and makes a lot of decisions on their own, and then the director comes in and helps to shape them. So if we're going to go full on digital with all of the characters, you're now going to have somebody create these characters from the ground up. It's not just here's a character, here's what they say. There's a lot more behind it to actually make them worth watching.
Yeah, but even if you have to, like you didn't. Let's say you didn't get what you wanted out of a scene, and then now instead of actually redoing it, like, you know what, let's use the technology and make his face make the smile instead of frown for whatever.
I just think that's so sacrilegious. I just
No,
hate
I know,
it.
look, I know I'm talking to movie people. Again, this is
Yeah.
my disclaimer.
I
I'm just
mean,
talking like that. When you look at the end product,
it's possible. It's a fail-safe, but it's not. I mean, it's expensive. What Crystal said, it's
expensive right
very-
now. It's expensive right now.
Yeah,
It's expensive now. You also have unions. The unions are going to protect their actors. They're going to protect the art and what's going on. Like even now with scans, Obi does scans of a lot of our background
Yeah.
people or actors so we can digitally replace or catch them on fire or whatever we have to do.
Mhm.
But there are clauses within the contracts right now that are keeping us from doing certain things. I don't think we're allowed to have databases of the scans that we have. I'm sure companies have them. I'm sure that they're in some kind of server somewhere so that later on we can pull them. But the unions as well are going to play a huge part as far as when the technology comes into play.
It's also-
Yes, there are going to be
Unions protect us.
movies. I'm not saying that there aren't going to be. There are going to be movies that are going to be completely digital and it's going to be amazing. Everybody's going to be wowed by it and we're going to go there and it's going to be a novelty. But then after 20 years of that, if we're alive that long, there's 20 years of that, then it's going to go back to, okay, we want
yes.
the people there.
So
That's never going to go away.
It's like, everything works in wave type deal. Like, people are like, oh, well, fuck Spotify. I'm going to go back and buy vinyl records because I don't trust this MP3 shit and I don't trust this streaming shit. But it's going to, every time we go one way with something, after a while, people go back the other way. That's just how it's.
They
Man,
find their way
I-
in the middle.
I
They
hope we
might not
never
go all the way
see
back, but they
the.
find their way in the
I
middle.
hope we never see the day where movie making is like a boutique or vintage. Like I think we always have crews and people working on it and never go full. This is coming from somebody in visual effects, even though it's more job security for me, but I
Well,
don't
let
want
me
to.
ask
I don't
y'all
want to
this
see. We all join it because we love the art form of creating films and shows and the team aspect of it, and I think it'll always be there forever.
I want to poke holes in it a little bit. Sorry.
Well, to a certain extent, this is the medium of animation we're talking about. We might, I think, to a certain extent, yeah, animation is evolving, but are we gonna stop putting people, actors in front of cameras, I don't
No,
think
probably
so.
not.
No.
Probably not.
With
Well,
animation, you still have actors. You have your voice actors. We haven't had a fully
Mhm.
digital sim that I know
That's
of.
true.
what
simmed
is
film
what
set.
is the next? So let's go back to what we were talking about earlier, where okay, there's this as a production company, you have to decide, okay, what percentage I'm going to release in theaters, what percentage I'm going to just go straight to streaming, right? Um, what is the thing in the movie industry that's gonna like the next thing that people are gonna go, oh, you know what? I'd rather go to the theater than stay home because this new thing is coming out. Or
Fast and the
and not
Furious.
just not the theater itself necessarily, but actually maybe how the movie is shot. I mean, 3D was a thing for a while and nobody gives a shit no more.
Well,
I
it was
honestly think, I'm not even joking, Fast and the Furious will be, if it hasn't come out or if it doesn't come out till next year and people don't start going to the movie theaters, that is when people will go to the movie theaters. That is a cult following. It's amazing. If you have not seen it in the movie theater in like Maryland or anywhere on the East Coast for that matter, then you have no idea the beauty of Fast and the Furious franchise. I personally am not a huge fan. I worked on it. Great, whatever, but it is a very different experience going to see it in an audience that knows that franchise and loves that franchise. It's like a soap opera, and the nuances that they have within it. It doesn't have anything to do with the tech. It doesn't have anything to do with 3D. It doesn't have anything to do with visual effects. It has everything to do with the cars and then.
Sure, but they've been doing that for years now. I mean,
Yeah.
I get the appeal of Fast and the Furious. Pretty cars, pretty girls, it's family, and then the end. We gotta
it's
save somebody.
it's
and-
serialized storytelling, though.
yeah, exactly.
Like
That's really
the
all
soap,
it is. We
the
go.
soap
We're like,
opera.
how can we
But
do
it's
crazy shit with
simple.
cars? Yeah, I know.
And that's the
I get
thing.
it.
And so like that's all that it takes. It's not going to have to be a big thing that has to bring people
I,
back.
I was
I
thinking
think
more in terms.
you've already seen it. Like films are starting to transition into 3D. Even if it wasn't shot in 3D, they'll
Did that work? That didn't
um
quite work though.
Yeah, I
it,
mean,
it,
it
like
lasted for a
it,
sec.
it did for we went through like the past 10 years have been trying to like feature more 3D cater film, but this is where I really see our industry going. Like the more projects that come out are gonna go from being this one-time narrative storytelling thing to it's all gonna be episodic from this point on.
Right.
Meaning
Aha.
that they're
Catch up with
all
TV.
because people like binging whatever show it is or whatever. Like they like kind of knowing what they're getting ahead of time. They don't want to take a risk. So I think that's why it's so hard to kind of greenlit original story. That's why you always have like Marvels, and they're always continuations of the other ones, or like your James Bond movies. They're always sequels. Fast and Furious is another franchise. You could go on and on. They're all like episodic kind of things. It's like what's the next continuation of the same story? It's all. I think we're gonna get. It's sad that like original content on the big screens kind of fading out, but I think
TV's taking over.
that's where all the content, even if it's a lower budget, like your $1 million movies or 500,000 to your $200 million movies, but they'll all have the same formula where they're all episodic. They're all gonna have to be like you have to, whenever you come up with the idea, there's gonna have to be a way you franchise this or you make this like a multi-investment kind of thing for
Take
audiences to go into.
take a Game of Thrones or Ozark, break it up into different, 2-hour movie, and then you have your thing. But I was thinking more in terms of in terms of the experience itself. Like
In terms of the
But I think,
experience
but
itself,
that is the experience. Then take my show too. Like they've announced this, I think last year at Comic-Con, that we're gonna be doing a movie version of our show. It's almost like a supersized season finale, if you want to look at it that way. Big budget, like with all the, and people, it's an event now. Instead of just kind of having your typical season finale, it's like now you have an event where you could get all your friends and family, all the other people that love this content that you love, and you make you get more bang for your buck, like going to a movie that way. Like I'm pretty sure when this Walking Dead movie comes out, it's gonna do way more, in that box office weekend, and it could do an advertisement on the season premiere or season finale that they show that. It's just that's just the way we're gonna every content, every show, every movie's gonna go. It's just looking at it episodic.
I have a pitch. And this is my my dream movie experience. Think of it like what was that show on Netflix where you could like it would stop and you had to choose like which way to go, like which narrative you want to follow. Yeah. So you go to because right now it's like, okay, you go to a movie, 2 hours, you walk out, you talk about it for the next day or so, and then it's over. But now it's like, look, I'm gonna go to this movie and I'm gonna watch this movie from a particular perspective. I don't know the technology, if it's special goggles or what, but you're basically now watching it's the same movie, but you're not having the same experience of that movie as the guy sitting next to you, right? And for you to get the complete story, you have to come back 2, 3, 4 times to get it, because somebody, you know, maybe there's the way a scene is shot, you only get part of the big reveal or whatever it is. But it's like it'll be my incentive for me to go back, because I'm like, I want to get the full picture. People who did the Bandersnatch thing, they watched that thing like 5 times because there was a secret ending, or you know, the story kind of switched because of the choice you made. But in this case, it's not. I mean, of course, it'll be a much more involved, you know, in terms of like shooting different things. I get all that, but you're getting repeat moviegoers, a lot of them, just by doing that. That's I would love to see that one day.
I actually think that we're gonna see something that looks a little bit like the opposite there, because I think that serialized storytelling, 3D storytelling, we're talking about 2 different things: an emotional gimmick or an emotional investment, and a gimmick, a technological gimmick. So 3D, right? Like that was big in the 50s with House of Wax. That came back into shape in the 80s, especially with like Friday the 13th Part 3, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 6 in the early 90s. And then 20-year rule, we carried that over. We saw it with Avatar blowing it up, and then we got My Bloody Valentine 3D. We got all these other, especially horror. Horror loves the gimmick. And then serialized storytelling, Fast and the Furious, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, all that. People are going to show up for that. But I actually think we're going to see smaller, more intimate affairs. And I think what we need to find is this balance between the tent poles, things like Marvel movies that are serialized, that keep you coming back. I think Marvel's business model was perfect for 10 years. But also films that are more character-based. I think the interactive aspect is going to be a very part of an at-home technological experience. Like, I think the idea of sitting in a theater and everyone voting on little like
it's not a vote. To me, it's like you come in and they ask you, okay, do you want to see plot 1, plot 2, plot 3? Okay, I want plot 1, and then.
But I don't think that. I don't think that. I mean,
I don't know how it works. I do not know. Don't DVDs, ask me how it works.
There was a movement back in the day with DVDs. And again, we were talking about porn earlier. How porn drives tech. That's true. That's why we have VHS instead of beta. That's why we have Blu-ray instead of HD DVD. It's because porn sales. I worked at a video store during those times, and I can tell you that is why. Porn pushes the. So
I always did.
One thing that I remember when I worked at a video store, when we'd get these new porno movies in on DVD, that they were trying to get people like, hey, don't go to the internet where it's free, buy our DVD. One of the things there was multi-angle. Like I remember unpacking boxes at the video store and little stickers being like multi-angle. And it kind of reminds me of what you're talking about, is the idea that like the viewer gets to decide. I wrote my thesis on digital film in film school, and it was all about, part of it was about interactivity.
Adam.
What? No, part of it was about interactivity, but I don't think we'll see that in a theatrical sense. I think we'll see that at home. I honestly think that the serialized aspect and the interactive aspect, it reminds me of like William Castle, it reminds me of Shocking Chairs for the Tingler, or, you know, House on Haunted Hill where skeletons drop from the ceiling on the audience. It feels like theme park stuff. But I think that if we're talking about real, like, actionable things that a whole industry will adapt to me, feels like studios banking on a few more tent poles, financing more indie stuff, and doing the interactive, let's push the line between TV and video games on an at-home market. I think that's the difference. I think we're going to be showing up to theaters for things like the opera or plays in film form, which is to say a 3-hour experience we don't get anywhere else.
I can see that.
But I mean, this is my take as a, I don't know, amateur film historian. I'm not trying to say
Amateur?
I'm right.
Are you kidding me?
I could be
God
wrong.
damn, you name movies I never heard of. I don't think anybody's heard of for you.
Star Wars.
I'm saying at some point, you know, we were talking about like how technology is getting better, faster. You know, there will be something that's going to come along, and the movie business is going to be like, oh, okay, we're going to use that. I don't know what it is.
I hope it's smell-o-vision.
Maybe it's VR. Maybe it's VR. Like I'm in the movie with Brad Pitt next to me. I don't know, but
It'll happen. Absolutely.
I'm curious what it's going to be. All right. On that
Whatever
note,
technology comes up, they're going to do it.
just watch porn, and then you'll see they'll ahead of their time, and then
be ahead of. If you watch porn, you're already
you're ahead of the time. You're ahead of your time.
That's the entire reason why I watch porn, because of that.
To look for
the articles.
Technology.
I just want to know about the technology.
Hey, it's getting there. It's getting there. All right, we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much, Obi, Adam, Crystal. Pleasure. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. As always, follow the FeedBak.
I thought you had a dope thing.
Oh yeah, the dope thing. Sorry. Thanks for reminding me. All right, we're going to go around. Obi, what you got? We're going to share something dope that we think you should know about. It could be anything. She's going to go around the virtual room and just share your dope thing.
Well, mine kind of really came from, I had a conversation with Crystal before this, or that she really talked highly about the show Hamilton that came out on Disney Plus, and I went and watched it this weekend for the first time. By far the best Broadway show I've ever seen. Like,
period.
Ever watched. Period. Just in I was thoroughly impressed. Like, to the point where afterwards I went on YouTube and I was just listening to the whole soundtrack over and over again. Like that. If you have not seen Hamilton, it's available on Disney Plus. Like, I would highly recommend you check that out.
I'm gonna flex and say I saw it in Austin last year and in person, and that shit is amazing. Amazing. All right, Adam, what do you got?
I'm gonna go ahead and shout out this album. And I'll drop the link in the comments in case you can't see this and it's shrink wrap. So this is Dat Boy Supa and Casino, two of my favorite local rappers. They teamed up. I love this album art, if you can see it. The album is called Afrofuturistic. It's just like, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's pro-black, pro-future, synthy-ass rap album, and it kicks ass. And I think you should go grab it. And I'm going to drop the link in the comments.
Nice.
All right, Crystal, what do you want to plug or what's dope?
Man, I have so many things that I've been watching right now. So what I just finished and kind of what's inspired the hair today is The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I just completely binged that. As my friend said, that is the best thing about 2020 right now. That's the only good thing in 2020 right now.
Yeah,
but I'm also reading a book that I want to plug. It's Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. I'm part of a book club that I started during this whole mess to kind of keep me busy and actually read, and that's our book this time. So Kindred, and it's also a graphic novel.
Can you put that into the comments too?
Put it in the comments. So
yeah,
we have,
I'm gonna
add that to the show notes.
Cool.
My dope shit is this dude on Instagram, Milo the Cat.
Yeah.
Who does
Milo the Cat?
Are you familiar?
Nah.
Oh,
I'll look him up.
No, I'm going to share the screen right now because this man does God's work in my world. So he takes cartoons and puts hip hop on top of it. Can you guys see this? So his entire
like
that's
the
all
way
he
to
did.
work it.
Seriously, and he
Go Hibberty.
like okay, this one is my favorite. This is brilliant.
That's
Amazing.
awesome. That's
This
awesome.
I love it. I love it.
I'm following now.
Milo the Cat on Instagram.
Already
Like, the
following.
list goes on. Like it's all hip hop and cartoons. Like if you like Hanna-Barbera, I mean, you name it, he has it in there. And he puts every day. He puts like 2 or 3 a day. It's crazy. All right. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you everybody for listening. Follow the FeedBak on social medias. We do this every Friday, 9 o'clock Central. If you want to
No,
join the
not
conversation.
Friday. Every Thursday.
Oh, Thursday, man. All day. See, this is what happened with this confinement shit. I don't know what day it is.
Yeah.
Thursdays, 9 o'clock Central.
Thank you so much, Crystal,
Subscribe.
for coming in, being our guest. Adam, again, my boy. So, yeah, this is great.
We geek out. We talk shit. This is what we do. This is the FeedBak Podcast. Thank you for listening, everybody. Peace.
Peace.